Hello there, everybody. This is Mr. Frazier, and we're going to go through Chapter 4.2, Quiz Corrections. Please remember, this is a 5-minute video. It shouldn't take that long. Quiz corrections are you write out the questions on your own paper. That means the directions in the questions you write out on your own paper. You then show me the work, have the right answer, and the key to this is making sure you tell me what you were supposed to do to get the answer right or what you did that got the answer wrong. Okay? So here we are. We start, it says write the first 5 terms of each sequence. Okay? And then tell me whether it was arithmetic or geometric. Okay? So the first term should be the easiest because they tell you. The first term's 8. So we can put that. This one, it says the first term is -9, so I can put that. This one, it says the first term is 0, so I can put that. And this one, it says the first term is -3. So I should be able to get the first term correctly, and then I'm trying to figure out what the rest of them are. Okay, so they use the word common difference. Common difference means it's an adding or subtracting. So it's an adding or subtracting problem, and I look at the 12. The 12 is positive, so I'm adding. If it was -12, I'd be subtracting. So common difference tells me add and subtract. The number tells me whether I'm adding or subtracting. If it's a positive number, I'm adding. If it's a negative number, I'm subtracting. So I'm supposed to add by 12. So this means it's in an arithmetic sequence. Why? Because arithmetic means adding and subtracting. Geometric means multiplying and dividing. So it is an arithmetic sequence. So I should have put arithmetic. Okay. And I should be adding 12. So hopefully you know you're adding 12 to each number. All right? Okay. The next one says the first term is -9. And it says it's a common ratio. Common ratio means I'm multiplying or dividing. Well, how do I know the difference there? I multiply when it's a number. I divide when it's a fraction. I multiply when it's a number. I divide when it's a fraction. Positives and negatives have nothing to do with it. Now I'm going to be multiplying because it's a number, not a fraction. And I'm multiplying by -2. So that means each one of these numbers is multiplied by -2. So it's -9 times -2, which is a positive 18. And then positive 18 times -2 is a -36. And notice the pattern, it switches signs every time because 2 negatives make a positive. Right? And because we're multiplying, it is a geometric sequence. How do I know I'm multiplying? Because common ratio means multiply or divide. All right. Now, if I had to find the common ratio or find the common difference, that would be one thing. But I'm not finding it right now. I'm just using it. They give it to me, and I use the number they give me. Remember, common ratios are the second term of a sequence over the first term, or divided by the first term. Okay? That's all of the work in skill practice 4.2. Just like finding the common difference is all of the work you do in skill practice 4.2 when you take the second term and minus the first term. Okay? So if you were trying to find the common difference, you would take the second term minus the first term. If you were trying to find the common ratio, you take the second term divided by the first term. In this case, they give it to you, so you're not having to find anything. Number 3, the first term of the sequence is 0, and the common difference, meaning I'm adding and subtracting. In this case, I'm subtracting. Why? Because the number is negative. So now it's 0 minus 6, -6, -6 minus 6. And again, it is an arithmetic sequence because arithmetic is adding and subtracting. Last but not least is the final one, and it's dividing by -4. How do I know it's dividing? Because common ratio means multiply and divide. And because it's a fraction, it means divide by -4. Which is the same as multiplying by -1/4. And again, my signs will switch in my answer. They'll be negative, then the first one will be positive, then the next one will be negative. Now notice, when you're dividing by 4, what gets bigger? It's the denominator that gets bigger. What stays the same? The numerator. You started with -3. Then it goes to +3. Then it goes to -3. Then it'll go to +3. Then it'll go to -3. It's the denominator that's changing because we're dividing by 4. So when I divide by 4, I get 16. When I divide by 4, I get, hopefully you know, 64. When I divide by 4, I get, correct, 256. So understanding that when you're a dividing problem, you keep it as a fraction, and you just make the denominator bigger. So basically, it's kind of like multiplying, because when you divide fractions, you multiply by the reciprocal. So if I'm dividing by 4, it's the same as multiplying by 1/4. So if I multiply this by 1/4, it would be 3 over 4. Multiply this by 1/4, it would be 3 over 16. Why? Because 4 times 4 is 16. 1 times 3 is going to stay the same, 3. And that's why they're always going to be 3 up top. The sign will change because it's a negative 4, which means I go negative, positive, just like the multiplication problem. All right. Remember, you get a half a point back for every point you miss. Hopefully you do the quiz corrections and turn them in. It's an easy way of improving your grade on the quiz. We do have to know this material for Monday because there is a test on Monday. Thank you very much, guys. Have a good night. Bye.